Okay, this is going to be a refresher of the is over of formula for the people who may have forgotten that over break and things like that. I received an email earlier this morning saying, Mr. Bowman, can you explain the is over of formula? I need it for help. So here we go. First of all, just a thing to remember, this is about finding percentage, parts of a whole, stuff like that, working with ratios. The formula itself works pretty simple. Now, it's basically a shortcut or a trick. Percent over 100. Okay, because the percentage, of course, of the 100% or of the whole. And then you put the is over the of. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm taking a sentence diagram and I'm taking some mathematics knowledge and combining both of them to create a formula that I can use to apply for different things. Now you can do this in other mathematical ways as well, but this just basically gives you a crutch or a template to kind of plug things in and go with it. So it's a little bit easier way to get through some things. For example, if you're looking at a problem that says, what is 95% of 800. Okay, I would not use this formula for that. There's no reason to. It would be more work than what you need to. In order to plug this stuff in over there and then use cross products to solve it, set up an algebraic equation, and then divide for the answer, way too much work. In this one though, look at it. Look at what it tells you. Look at what it's saying to you. 95% of 800. That literally means turn the percent into 0.95. Of means to multiply, and then 800 is your number. So in this case, 0.95 times 800. If you're going to do that, as I walk off screen and grab a device, 0.95 times 800, boom, 760. Okay, I could do this by hand. I could work it out manually. It doesn't make a difference. But in this instance, I almost want to get this video done kind of quick for you guys. And I know that some of you are going to do the device too because the whole multiplication thing is not too quick for you. So in this case, we have 760 is my answer. Okay, if the problem is structured this way on your work, and it says, what is 95% of 800, or 16% of another number, whatever it is, you can use this method. Convert the percent to a decimal, which means left to the left becomes 0.95, okay? And then times, because of means multiply, and then you get 800. Done. So let's change it up a little bit. Let's give you one that you might want to use this formula for, okay? And we'll kind of break it down. So if I'm looking at this problem, and it says, what percent of 1,600 is 97? It's structured differently. What percent of 1,600 is 97? So using my formula over here, here's the thing. We know that 100 always stays the same and it never changes. And it never changes because it represents the whole, all right, the 100% of whatever it is you're working with. In this question up here, it says what percent? We don't know the percent, so I have to use a variable. Choose your variable. I go with X. Okay, now the rest of this, basically I'm creating a proportion. I'm creating an algebraic proportion. One of my items I'm putting up there is an unknown. So that's represented by a variable. And consequently on a variable, and it becomes algebraic. All right, fair enough. Of 1,600 is 97. Of 1,600 is 97. Start to get the idea? So 97 goes on top, 1,600 goes on the bottom. Now, I can use this and go cross products like this. 1,600x equals 9,700. I divide by 1,600. X equals, okay, real simple. 9,700 divided by 1,600 equals 6.0625. Okay, 6.0625. Okay, so let's say that instead of doing it that way, you were looking for another way to do it. I can do it a different way. This method, with the cross products and the solution like this, will work for every single one of those problems you'll have on your work, all the time. It may be a little more work on some of them, or a little less work on others, but it will work guaranteed every single time and will get you the correct answer as long as your math's correct. But on this one, if I didn't want to do the whole cross products and stuff, I could do it differently. I can just divide 97 by 1600 on this one. And then it's going to give me 0.060625, which is not the answer we need. Okay? So we need to move the decimal to the right twice. That's a decimal, so I need to convert it to a percent to move it to the right twice. And that would give me 6.0625. So you get the same answer, a little bit different. But in order to utilize this formula, follow the example I just gave you over here. You're plugging into the areas what you have in the sentence and putting a variable in for where you don't have it. Remember, 100 never changes. It always stays in the same spot. If you know the percent, put it over 100. If they say is what, then you can put the variable in the is spot, if that was the case. So you just have to break it down by looking at the sentence. You got to read a little critically, you got to fit it together, and then you do cross products, like we did here, and then you have a single step variable expression. So you divide, because if you have 1600x, that means 1600 times x. And you undo that by doing the opposite operation, the inverse operation, which is divide. So divide each side by 1600. 1600 divided by 1600 is gone because that's just once, and 1x is 1x. And then 9700 divided by 1600 gives me the percentage answer just like that. I don't have to convert it. If I did just division, then I have to convert it. And that's something that's easy to forget. That's why this particular setup works every single time. You just got to read through it carefully and plug it in. All right, hopefully that example helped you. We'll stop right there.